Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope you're all doing great. So, something dropped in Diablo 4 that's got the whole community rethinking builds, gear, and how to push content. Patch 2.4.1. It's one of those updates where the changes are subtle but impactful, and when you really look at them, they shift the rhythm of how you play, farm, and optimize. I want to walk you through the changes, break down why they matter, and help you think about what you should test out first. Think of this as a chat between us, me telling you what to try and watch out for. Okay, first up, Chaos Armor. This patch reworked how Chaos Armor works in a big way. Before, grabbing a Chaos Armor could sometimes come at a cost. You might lose a unique in the process, or miss out on something you wanted. Now the devs made it so Chaos Armor drops are extra rewards, not replacements. That means when you clear content, you get the usual unique drops and a chance at Chaos Armor instead of swapping one for the other. That change alone shifts the risk versus reward balance, especially in high-tier content. Also, there's a visual distinction now. Chaos Armor looks different from standard uniques, which helps reduce confusion and mistakes when picking up loot mid-fight. They added fresh Chaos Armor pieces for each class, new items that increase the pool of available gear you can experiment with early on. So instead of waiting forever for the perfect fit in Chaos slots, you'll have more options to tinker with right away. That change is going to push experimentation. I expect people will mix and match more Chaos pieces with traditional uniques and see new synergies. Then you get into Chaos perks. Many perks that were overlooked are now stronger. Some perks that felt weak, like Chaotic Burst or Brawn over Brains, got buffs. Defensive perks got some nerfs to balance things out. Mardguard's armor bonus was trimmed. With these changes, perks that were previously niche could start showing up in builds you wouldn't expect. For example, a build that ignored certain Chaos slots might now plug in a buffed perk and suddenly gain a surprising boost. What makes this interesting is that a synergy chain you'd never consider might now become viable. Maybe a certain Chaos perk that buffs attacks you never used becomes worth using. That's why after this patch, the first thing I want to do is revisit your build sheet. See what perks you ignored before and plug them in for a test run. Some will hurt, some will shine. Moving on, the parts of the game that get faster, meaner, and more rewarding. Infernal Hordes and Soul Spires. They got tuned. The flow of these challenges is altered so you move more quickly through content, but there's a catch. Ambushes and spires will be trickier. Some boss behaviors changed. Bartuc, for example, won't turn invulnerable like before. He now has a shield mechanic in his lair instead of the blunt, untouchable status. That means you can break him again with timing, positioning, and awareness. The Aether gains in Hordes got cranked up in many waves. Rewards for completing waves or offerings got more generous. All of that means speed matters more, and you can't afford to be slow or sloppy in these encounters. Because of these changes, strategies that worked before may need to be torn apart. Routes you used to take through a spire might no longer give the optimal benefit. You'll need to adjust your paths, rethink where you fight, where you rest, how aggressively you push. I want you, after watching this, to load into a spire or a Hordes run and pay attention to how much Aether you gain and what patterns shift compared to what you're used to. Then there are the class changes. This is where the meat gets dense. Every class got touched, nothing left untouched. For Barbarians, Single-Minded Fury got improvements. For Druids, some interplay with Poison and Spirit got clarified and strengthened. Necromancers had tweaks to Bonestorm's cap and duration. Rogues and Spiritborn had adjustments to their skill aspect synergies, and so on. Some changes are small numbers, but others hit a threshold or duration and suddenly change how strong or weak a build feels. That's why you have to treat this patch like you would a preseason. Even the familiar feels new. One example I want you to test. If you run Bonestorm on a Necromancer, watch its new duration and how many stacks it can hold. If your build relies on stacking higher damage over time, this change might force you to recalculate how much time you're spinning that skill. For Barbarians, if you run a Fury build, see how Single-Minded Fury's tweaks affect your damage curve across the rotation. For Rogues, try skills you previously skipped and see if they now pull weight with a buffed perk. Also, a few item fixes and caps change some exploitative builds. Lidless Wall's crit damage is now capped at 100%. That means if your build was pushing crit damage beyond that for an exploit window, now it's sitting on a hard ceiling. So double check your gear when you get new rolls to make sure you're not over pushing into redundant numbers. From the community side, the feedback is already coming in. Some folks are praising the Chaos Armor drop logic fix because it removes that grinding away at losing legacies frustration. Others are pointing out that some Chaos Armor interactions still feel off or bugged. That's to be expected. Patches that touch loot logic are always messy. Players are also data mining to see which perks actually saw the biggest gains. Expect folks on forums to post spreadsheets comparing before-after breakpoints. Your job as a content maker or top-tier player is to get in early. Try things that sound weak, test them, and either blow up or discard fast. Something to keep in mind. This patch is kind of a bridge. The devs have already said that a major PTR covering systems like Masterworking, Tempering, Combat, and Renown is coming shortly. They're clearly using 2.4.1 to set the base, clean up immediate issues, and get players and metrics ready for bigger changes. So anything you overcommit to now, especially in crafting or extensive gear rework, has to be done carefully. Don't bet your entire build on a chaos combination that might get nerfed in the next big drop. So here's what I want you to try first, right after watching this. Go into your favorite build, the one you always fall back on, and rerun it with chaos slots you ignored before. Maybe do 3 runs with alternate perks and compare damage, survivability, and feel. Then hop into a Soulspire or Hordes and track the timing. How fast you clear, how much Aether you get, whether you're taking more damage than before, if you need to adjust healing or shield stats. Also, when you kill Bartuc next, see how his shield behavior works before, during, and after. It's close to the same, but the nuance matters. Once you've got your test data, I want you to jump into your community. Post your before-after numbers, talk about what surprised you. Because the devs clearly want feedback heading into the major PTR, and that data helps them calibrate. If enough people tag weak perks or broken interactions, those will get smoothed out. Be vocal, be bold, but back it with numbers. One more thing. Economy and crafting might feel a little weird immediately after this patch. Since more chaos items drop, demand for certain roles could shift. If you've been holding materials thinking, wait for the next big patch, right now is a place for cautious upgrades, not reckless rerolls. If you get a gear piece that seems solid, test it. Don't shove every material into it. You might later want something completely new when Tempering or Masterworking gets the overhaul. So there you go. Patch 2.4.1 is live. Changes are small on the surface, but meaningful at depth. And your best move is to test, compare, share. Try new chaos perks, dive into Hordes and Spires with a fresh mindset, and keep an eye on the PTR that's coming.